Hello and welcome to Kitchen Door Workshop, the home of replacement kitchen doors since 1996. Over the years, Kitchen Door Workshop has helped many thousands of people to save money on the cost of a new kitchen simply by replacing their existing kitchen doors. All of our doors are available in standard and made-to-measure sizes, and we can draw the hinge holes for you if required. In this video, I'm going to be talking about kitchen doors. But the same rules generally apply whether you're doing kitchen doors, bedroom doors, doors for bathrooms, boats, caravans, motorhomes. The list is endless. It's only really the sizes that are different. Replacing your own doors is a quick and easy DIY job for many people, requiring only basic tools and skills. Our video guides will take you step by step from measuring right through to installing your new doors and adjusting the hinges, and we'll give you the confidence you need to get the job done. In this video, I'm going to show you how to accurately measure your doors and drawer fronts. First thing to do, step one, is to draw a plan. I'm going to draw a plan of all the doors and the drawers, put them on a piece of paper. If you download our guide, How to Replace Your Kitchen Doors, you will find in the back there is a planning guide that we've made for you already. You can simply draw your doors and drawers onto there. Once you've drawn your plan, take a moment, double count, double check the number of doors that you have that you're going to be measuring, and make sure that you've got that same number on the plan. Next thing you need to do is download our current price list for the range of doors that you're looking at, because you may well find that most of the doors you have in your kitchen are standard sizes, and if they are, then that's going to be a cheaper option for you than doing everything made to measure. And quite often you may find your doors are literally 1 or 2 millimeters different than a standard size door, and you may just decide it's better to use a standard size door than to use made to measure, although where you need made to measure, we can do those for you. Now you're ready to start measuring. First thing you're going to do is you're going to need to know that you're going to measure the doors, not the units. Quite often people say to us, yes, I need a door 500mm wide, 600mm wide. It's not how wide they are, generally speaking. For example, this cabinet is 500mm wide, but the door on it is not 500mm wide. The door will generally be, and I'll just double check this, 4mm narrower than the unit that it sits on, and this one is exactly 4mm narrower. This door is 496 wide. You could have made it 500mm wide, but in doing so, where you have units next to each other, you won't be able to open them if the door is the same width as the cabinet. Now, you're going to measure in millimetres. That's the most important thing. Don't measure in centimetres, don't measure in inches. You really need to be measuring in millimetres, and if your tape measure, like mine does, has all the measurements in centimetres, it's very easy to convert that to millimetres. You're going to measure the back of the door when you measure rather than the front, and the reason you're going to do that is the front of the door may have a profile on it or a rounded edge that makes it difficult to actually measure the door properly. So when we measure, we would generally measure the back of the door, not the front. Using this as an example, often you may have a full straw front. Now, doors don't come with full straw fronts attached. When you see them on our website, the drawer front is only there just to show you what the drawer front style looks like. So if you need a drawer and a door front, or a drawer front and a door, you need to measure and order these separately. You need to think whether your doors are going to be right-handed or left-handed. In this example, this is a right-hand door and this is a left-hand door. The right-hand door opens towards the right, the left-hand door opens towards the left. You're going to need to measure, if you want us to put hinge holes in the doors for you, you're going to need to measure your hinge hole positions. Now, there is no such thing as standard hinge hole positions. They vary from one manufacturer to another. They also vary between base units and wall units, even if the door is the same size. Quite often a manufacturer will have different hinge hole drilling positions on his base units than he does on his or her wall units. So we would always advise measuring every door individually and checking the hinge hole positions individually. Alternatively, we have a standard of 100 millimetres from the bottom of the door and 100 millimetres from the top of the door. So if you'd rather not measure the hinge hole positions and you'd rather move the back plates for the hinges when you fit your doors, then that's fine. You can use our standard if you wish. How to measure the hinge hole positions? Well, first thing to bear in mind is that the hinge holes are a standard 35 millimetre diameter hole. You don't need to concern yourself with the distance from the edge of the door to the edge of the hole, and you don't need to consider yourself with the depth of the hinge hole. You just need to bear in mind it's the 35 millimetre diameter hole. That's pretty standard for all hinge manufacturers. So, measuring the hinge holes. You need to measure from the top of the door to the centre of the top hinge hole position, and from the bottom of the door to the centre of the bottom hinge hole position. If you have doors with more than 2 hinge hole positions, this is an example of one with 3, then you would measure to the centre of the centre hinge hole position from the top of the door. If you had a door with 4 hinge holes in it, then the top 2 would be measured from the top of the door and grouped together. The bottom 2 would be measured from the bottom of the door and you'd group those together. So those are your bottom hinge holes and those are your top hinge holes. It's also worthwhile you're doing this to look at the quality of your existing hinges and your drawer boxes. If the hinges are a bit rattly and the doors often fall off, or you're having problems adjusting them, the screws aren't any good on them anymore, your drawer boxes aren't running properly, or they're sagging, or they're falling apart, or every time you pull it the drawer falls out, now is probably a good time to replace your hinges and your drawer boxes. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, if you're going to replace your hinge or your hinges, a couple of things you need to think about. Firstly, how far does the door open? You've got 2 options. A door that opens to, for example, 110 degrees, looks like that. That's a cheaper hinge option. Or you can pay a little bit extra and have a 165 degree opening hinge that allows your door to fold all the way back. Again, if you're going to replace your hinge, the only other thing we need to know is the thickness of the cabinet. And the reason we need to know that is it affects the back plate that you use. And cabinets are generally one of 2 thicknesses, 15 millimetres thick or 18 millimetres thick, and we just need to know that if you're going to be ordering new hinges. Now let's look at measuring your drawer fronts. Now, drawer fronts are basically the same as measuring doors. You're going to be looking at the height of the drawer front and the width, and you're going to measure that from the back. It's worth bearing in mind that drawer fronts up to 282 millimetres high will be styled as a drawer front. They'll have the route or the pattern that a drawer front has. Deeper drawers, like these pan drawers here, where they are above 283 millimetres high or 283 millimetres high and above, will be styled as a door, even though you're going to use it as a drawer front. And that's quite normal, that's how they come. So up to 283 millimetres will be styled as a drawer front, 283 millimetres and above styled as a door. We often get asked, how do I calculate drawer front sizes where I am putting in a set of drawers where there aren't any drawer fronts to measure at the moment? How do I know which size drawers I need to make up a drawer pack if I'm, say, converting this unit into a drawer pack? It's very simple. If the drawer fronts are going onto a unit 720 millimetres high, then if you just go to the cabinets page of our website, you will find on there lists of standard drawer front combinations that go to make up a 2, 3 or 4 drawer pack, and you can use those. If it's not a standard height, or one of your drawer fronts lining up with other ones needs to be a non-standard height, then the one thing to bear in mind is to use standards where you can, but always allow a 3mm gap between drawer fronts to give you the room to adjust them. Another place where a drawer front is used is the panel that sits below an oven, or the panel that sits above an oven in a tall oven housing. These are drawer fronts. Generally speaking, they're 115 high by 596 wide. Double check that. You can use a panel for that rather than a drawer front, but if you choose to order a panel for that, then obviously it won't have the drawer front pattern in it, and I think a drawer front just happens to look a little bit nicer for that. Talking about appliances, we've made another guide on how to replace appliance doors, and that will talk specifically about doors for fridges, freezers, doors for extractors, doors for dishwashers, and it covers the way that you measure and connect those. So you've measured all the doors, you've put all your measurements onto your plan. Now you're ready for step 2, and step 2 is double checking the measurements. So you're going to measure the doors one more time and just double check on the plan to make sure that you've got all the measurements right. You can probably pick up most of your mistakes by double measuring the doors, so that will save you a lot of time and trouble later on. So don't assume, as I've said earlier, that all the hinge hole positions are always going to be the same on all of your doors. Double check the hinge hole positions as well as the measurements of the doors. Now step 3 is to turn the measurements that you've had into a materials list, sort of like a door order. Now we've again, if you download our book, How to Replace Your Kitchen Doors, you'll find at the back of the book is a materials ordering sheet that we've designed for you to make your life easier, and you can enter your sizes into there. Once you've completed that, what we'd like you to do is to go to our website and use our online quote system to simply stick all your sizes in there. That's by far the quickest and easiest and most accurate way to get a quotation, and we'd ask you to do that rather than faxing or photocopying or trying to get this piece of handwritten paper through to us. Doing it online is the quickest, easiest and most accurate way to get a price, and you'll get a quote back in minutes. You'll need to go to our website to do that, and our website address is kitchendoorworkshop.co.uk. A final few points to bear in mind. Firstly, very narrow doors and very shallow drawer fronts may be too small to have a pattern in them. It varies from one style to the next what the minimum size is to have a pattern in a door and a drawer front. Generally speaking, with a door it's below 296. You're in the territory where there may not be enough width to put a pattern into it. If this is going to be an issue for you, it's worth going to the specifications pages on our website, and as I mentioned earlier, when you've picked a door style, generally on that style page is the product specification that will tell you the minimum and maximum sizes, minimum width to have a door pattern, and lots of other information that you'll find helpful. We often get asked, what if there isn't a door to measure? How do I work out what size door I need to go onto a unit where there is not a door at the moment? In simple terms, assuming that the cabinet is either 15 or 18 millimetres thick, that the sides are 15 or 18 millimetres thick, all that you need to do for a single unit is to measure the width of the unit and deduct 4 millimetres. That will give you the door width. If it's a double unit, take the overall width of the unit, divide that by 2, then deduct 4 millimetres from the width of both of the doors. Handle holes. We often get asked if we can drill handle holes in the doors for you. Unfortunately, we're unable to do that. What we would recommend, though, is that you invest a few pounds and get a handle hole drilling jig, as this will make it a lot easier for you, and it's quite a quick job to ensure that your handle hole positions are the same on every door. And a little quick tip, when you're drilling your positions for your handles, when you're drilling the holes, drill from the front of the door through to the back. Put a little block of wood there and drill through from the front to the back. Heat deflectors. Heat deflectors are a very good way to help prevent damage occurring to the edges of your doors from the heat given off by appliances such as ovens and dishwashers. The way a heat deflector works is it screws on to the edge of the adjacent unit, and as the door closes, it protects the edge of the door from damage caused by appliances that give off heat. We've got another guide that we've produced, a short video guide on how to fit heat deflectors, but they're a good precaution to take. Well, that's it. We hope you found this video guide useful and that it's given you the confidence you need to measure your doors and drawers. We've got a whole load of other videos covering a very, very wide range of subjects: drawer boxes, hinges, handles, and we hope you're going to take a moment to watch those, and they'll answer the other questions that you have. If you have any questions that are unanswered, please don't hesitate to give us a call, drop us an email, and we'll be more than happy to try and help you.